Kimi K2 is now available inside of Cursor as an agent. And today I'm gonna walk you through this entire setup, and it should be really, really fast to get this configured so that we can use it inside of Cursor agents. In order for us to do this, we have to just go over here to the settings, and then there's a little model section here on the left side. And once you go into the models, you can actually go ahead and type in Kimi K2 instruct, and it's as simple as toggling this little thing right here. So with that quick setup, we are already done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining in. No, what we're gonna go ahead and do is see if this model is actually good enough for us to ship a new feature for our app. So the app that I'm currently working with is called Ray Transcribes. And if you aren't familiar, this is the app that I've been basically vibing with. And what it allows you to do is just transcribe stuff extremely fast. And the part of the reason why I do this with raytranscribes.com is the fact that you can actually get discovered just like the big channels. I made this app for myself because I do a lot of live streaming, and there's a real big secret that a lot of people don't really know is that you can actually get ranked really fast on Google or these other platforms like Bing if you put your transcripts in your videos as soon as possible, especially for trending news. And so with this, I'm going to see if I can add a feature, because as soon as I finish a transcription, what ends up happening is the fact that there's no history of the transcripts. Like, I deliver you the transcript so fast, I was like, oh, who needs a history? And several customers have actually been asking for this, because when you do a new transcription, you can't really see if there's any more. I do keep track of all of the minutes and stuff, but we're going to go ahead and see if we can use, instead of Claude Sonnet now, we should be able to select Kimi K2 instruct inside of Cursor. And so this is going to be a little bit different because I'm used to using Claude Code, if you've seen me use before. And today we're just going to follow along and see if the agent is actually good enough to use this model and optimize. And this is just going to be a first look at this whole pass here. And we're just going to go right into it and see how it does. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is just a live stream, so this is your time to ask any questions and kind of hang out with me as we get this figured out. So the agent currently has this, and I currently have the transcription form up. And I think I also have like a sidebar as well. So I'm going to go ahead and select that as far as like any context. It should be sidebar, sidebar components and some other things. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just tell the agent that what my problem is and see if we can actually ship this. Before I do anything, I'm already set up on a feature branch, which is really good. I'm going to basically commit 2 features and see if we can totally YOLO this. So let's go ahead and see if I can kind of give it some of those instructions. I'm going to say, I'd like to add a new feature to my app. A lot of users are asking for a history of the transcripts so they don't have to go back and transcribe them. I haven't coded it in this for a little while, so I want you to make sure you can find all the different files. I am using Convex for my database. And so I am also basically have a component that's on the front end, which is called transcription form. And when those files are written, it hits various routes and then writes to the database and so forth. So I want you to make sure that we can keep the code as dry as possible and try to reuse code instead of creating new code. And your job is right now to go ahead and look through the code and try to see if you can help me ship this feature. All right, so cool. And so one of the keywords I used was called dry, which means it's don't repeat yourself. So that's a key term that's currently used in the industry for like coding in general. Like people like to say clean code, dry, that type of stuff is very helpful. I have a convex rules file, so I'm going to go ahead and give it that as well. Convex rules, MDC. And then I also have something with it, like a whole thing about it, like not repeating itself code wise. And I think it's in my documentation, but I totally forgot. I think it's a optimization case study. So I basically have design guidelines and I also have optimization rules. I don't know if I want to give it too much at the beginning, but I think this will just be enough information to go off of so you can try to build this feature with the agent. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this just in case something fails and I could just redo it again. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it go do its thing. So now we should be using Kimi K2 instruct. And if I understand it, I haven't clarified with the Cursor team. I would definitely be reaching out, but the Kimi model is actually hosted, I think, on Fireworks or some North American container. So you don't have to worry about this instance that's currently enabled in Cursor for it actually going out to another region that's outside of the North American container. I will reach out to them and get some clarifications and we'll follow up. I'll have some notes detailed down below, as well as timestamps in this video, so we can go back if you're rewatching this in the future, by the way. Big shout outs to Raul, who's just joining in, also to Sharik as well. And Duo Debut says, hello everyone, great channel, great videos, really inspires me to learn more, passionate about AI too. Yeah, thanks for joining in. If you're really interested, you're actually welcome to become a member. It's just $6.99 right now. The price will double once I reach my first 100 members. And that just gets you access to the Discord that's currently available through my YouTube channel. So youtube.com/RayFernando1337. And that actually helps support the channel. So what we're witnessing right now inside of Cursor is it actually going through its to-dos. I don't know what's actually happening here, but this is really interesting. So it says to-dos 7. So if we go to here, the to-dos, it's actually kind of figured out what we were trying to say in our prompt and kind of made itself like a really giant list to do. So explore the code base to understand the current transcription flow, analyze convex database schema for transcription related data, design the history. Okay, so it's actually working through each of these steps right now. And so it's doing step 1 of 7. And it's actually searching through my code base, which is really, really cool. And then, for whatever reason, the Cursor agent is actually doing this type of thing. We're just kind of formatting it this way. I don't know what's going on. It must be a bug in Cursor. But yeah, I mean, it's still working. The agent's kind of doing its thing. Sterling, what's going on, man? Stoked to see Kimi inside of Cursor. Same here. It eliminates a lot of headache, and it's good to see it in a agentic workflow. Yeah, and that's going to be kind of like a big advantage of it. I feel like is the fact that it's inside of Cursor. But there is like a formatting thing, and I feel like I'll definitely have to submit this to the Cursor team as far as like a bug. Now I have a comprehensive understanding based on my analysis. I can see that the database structure you clearly have is this. It's doing its thing. Oh, this is so annoying. Oh no. Okay. Yo, this is crazy. Okay. But at least it's working, I guess, right? So we'll see. Oh my goodness. So it's reading my files. Have we YOLO'd any code yet? Let's see. No, it has not made any code changes. Basically, it's just going through my implementation right now and trying to understand what is it all that I'm doing. So it has found the corresponding files. It has made a to-do list and is actually going through them. And I don't know if there are actually multiple to-do lists here because they do look like they're different lists, if you know what I mean. So in here it has a different list from here, right? Or am I just tripping? No, I think they're the same list. Okay. So one thing that I totally forgot about is in the to-dos here at the bottom underneath generating. So the generating will just tell us what code it's writing, but right above it, it looks like there's a to-do list type of thing. So in that to-do list will actually tell us where we're at. So in this whole step, we're explode their code base. The agent has basically created, its own to-do list, just like you see in Claude Code, but this is specific to Cursor. Analyze the database. Now it's identifying the components. And then now it's actually reaching for the design history feature. So it's actually doing that it's creating our design for us right now. And then it's going to implement backend queries and mutations for the transcription history, implement the front-end components. And so what I would have maybe appreciated a little bit more was maybe another back and forth, maybe to iterate on this specific step and saying, hey, as far as design, what were you thinking? Like, this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. Some feedback that I got from one of my members, his name is Daniel. He uses my app quite a bit. And he says, I would like to have kind of like a ChatGPT-like feature, because in ChatGPT, there's like a little sidebar that already has everything. And in my app currently, I already have a sidebar. So this would just be a perfect opportunity to kind of put all that stuff in there. I really don't know at this current stage what the agent is going to do. And so if there were some improvements to make here, I would basically just say if the agent can maybe interrupt me, or if I can I know I can put stuff in and it will queue it up, but I'm not really sure if it's going to actually like interrupt it in the middle of this flow. I could try to interrupt it because right now I was just trying to write the file, but let's just say, but I kind of wanted to see, because I really don't know, like, what if it already does that? What if it already assumes we're doing that ChatGPT design? So that'll be really interesting. Chris Norman, how's it going? Welcome to the chat, man. Really appreciate it. This is my summer of streaming. And so I'm trying to stream every single day. And today it just got away from me. I had a bunch of meetings in the morning. I had a bunch of stuff to take care of, had to do some lunch. And I did a test stream in Mountain View on my other account. So my other account is on X and also on Twitch. I was just walking around. Actually was not walking around. I landed in a spot in downtown Mountain View and I had my camera and I was just kind of testing what the outdoor scene is. So there's a lot of audio issues when I'm outside because it's not as clean as a studio, because I was literally trying to do this exact video, but outside. And it was not as easy because it would just be way too distracting if you were kind of reading back from this. So I wanted to keep it a little bit cleaner than before. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Man, they should be using Grok. It's fast AF for sure. Nice job, man. No, appreciate it. Definitely appreciate everyone for showing up. Yeah. Hey, Ray, it's Alex from the Arc AGI event. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, here we go. We have Alex, the guy who was like, oh my God, it's Ray. What an event. Great to meet you. You're such a good dude. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So I actually was at this event called the Arc AGI. So the Arc AGI has a new benchmark, and they're basically Arc AGI 3. And so the Arc AGI benchmark is basically trying to test or make a set of rules and actually have games and stuff. And the goal of this is to actually test these AI systems that are easy for humans to do, but they're hard for machines to do. And so there's like a massive spread between what a human can do and what an AI can do. And we got invited to this private event from Greg. Detour was there, and I think there's going to be like a whole interview as well. I think he interviewed Francais Choualet, I think one of the guys who like co-founded this as well. And it's a really cool benchmark, because then they're basically pushing the envelope and saying, if the machines can figure this out, that means it's like really truly intelligent and AGI like. And these games are pretty hard. Like once you get past level 5, it gets harder for humans to figure out. But if the machines can figure out, then you have a system that you probably can consider AGI like. So if we go to the games, I think here's the overview real quick. Yeah, play humans. I think play humans. And we're just going to try, I don't know which one I should try. I tried one of them, learn more. And it was really, really hard. I was able to get to past like a couple levels. Yeah, my bad. I just keep playing this, going in a loop here. So let's just try this one. Start. So I think we're supposed to use the arrow key, spacebar, and click. So here we are. Without any type of instructions, you're supposed to figure out what you're supposed to do. And then click. I guess, I don't know, you're supposed to click and stuff. So you're kind of go like this. Oh, there we go. I don't know what I did, but I won. And so I think that's the whole thing, is like if you give this to an AI system, it's supposed to take these instructions and know what to do with them. So it will like basically say, oh, I'm supposed to click this and then do this frame by frame. And if your AI system can figure out what to do, none of these games are actually the same. So like, even if you train it on one specific level, it's not going to be like the same as the next level, because there's different sets of rules. And the crazy part is that you're not actually given any rules at all. So you're supposed to actually figure out what to do based off of no rules, just based off the visual stuff. And so that's an interesting form of intelligence. And this is part of the Arc AGI 3 testing thing. So you may hear more about this. These guys were actually invited on stage for the Grok 4 event from Elon Musk, I think almost 24 hours before the release of Grok 4. And that's where they did the benchmarking, because no AI system has even got 100%. It's barely even crossed double digits. But Grok 4 with all these compute, got almost like 40%. So there is something there in that model, and we will see how that goes. I'm really curious to see what Kimi, as far as a benchmark, would do. Obviously, there's a lot of visual and a lot of intuitive stuff that you have to do for this type of intelligence. And yeah, that's a little bit of sidebar while we're waiting for the agent to cook our code. Hopefully, it's still generating, actually. So it says model failed tool call with the current arguments. Now let me create a front-end component. So cursor seems to be kind of stuck on the design right now. I really don't know what's going on. Yeah, there are a couple bugs right now. One is that fact that we have this really weird thing where just every single line is going to do this type of thing. And then the second part is that it just seems to be taking a very long time to generate. It did generate some code for us, and it generated for me in the convex database to add this feature. So the first feature here that we're doing, okay, now it's actually doing some more stuff. It says, let me create the front end components. So now it's going to do the front end components. So it looks like it first worked on the back end. Let me kind of make my head smaller here. I'm just going to take a look at the code really quick. So now it's getting the user's transcription history with full details. So it's going to get the transcription history, and then it's going to do also check for authentication, which is great. And it just added a function, get a single transcription job with full details. Awesome. Okay. And then, so I guess that's like setting us up so that when you do click one of the transcriptions, we'll have all of that data to load to the front end, which is pretty awesome. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, and now it's going to try to implement, I guess, the front end components for this design. Yeah, I wish we could interrupt it or give it some more, information here. So yeah, that's what's up. Let's catch up a little bit with this while we're still waiting for Cursor to cook its thing. As we see, Cursor's taking advantage of the to-dos. And, we started this with this pretty massive like feature implementation saying, hey, I want you to implement histories basically. And I'm just letting the agent do its thing. I'm hoping that it can just figure it out. Yeah, I think my Cursor Pro plan should be resetting today or tomorrow, but we'll see. I might have to upgrade to the Ultra plan because there's literally just $20 a month or Ultra. Yeah, I can't keep up with the AI news anymore. Thanks, Ray. Your efforts help me stay updated. Oh man, that's awesome. That's so cool with a heart. Kimi K2 has 128 context length and still performs well into the 90K tokens. That's super helpful to know, Sterling. This is really great. Maintaining context allegedly. Yeah, allegedly is definitely a really great word. Yeah, basically designed to measure the AI system generalization and intelligence through skill acquisition efficiency versus having a set of tools already in the unique unseen environments. That's for the Arc AGI 3 tests or Arc AGI in general, all those benchmarks. What a strange chat stream bug. How do you even describe it? Like the random one-line breaks? Yeah, I got it earlier today too. So I want to replay, re-export. Yeah. Yeah, I think I did an update. No, I don't think I did an update. I don't even know what version I have. Let's see. I have version 1.2.4. So yeah, that should be chilling. I don't like how long it's taking right now. We've been chilling for a little while. It's already like 10 minutes plus into this. And it is chugging along. It's just taking a very long time. So it's creating the front end components. Let me create the transcription history component. So it's creating a history component somewhere in my UI. And oh. Let me try a different approach. Okay. It must have and create the files directly. I guess it's been trying to do something, but it just can't really write the file. I have this code here that it wrote. So yeah, I don't know. I was hoping for like a better plan, but we'll see. Yeah. Oh, this is so annoying actually. Yeah. You know what I could do? I want to see if I could try a background agent to see if the background agent can do the same exact plan. So that way, like I'll have a different branch in PR created, and that actually may be interesting. So let me just take a quick screenshot of this so I don't forget. And then let me just give this to the background agent as well, right? I mean, why not? So it won't interrupt or interfere with what we're doing right here, right now. And that way we can sort of compare. I think that'd be a really good comparison. So if I go to this little cloud, show background agents, I could just literally paste this exact thing in, and I can go back up and give it the same context. So I'll give it, I think it's transcription form, and then also give it sidebar, and then also give it the convex rules. Convex rules. Okay. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I wonder, can I give it two? Yeah. Okay. So I can give it Claude Sonnet Max, and I could also give it O3. So if I get the plus, so I get now, oh, no. I don't want 2x. I just want 1. Is it 2x Claude? Hold on. Okay. Oh, there's like a UI thing. Oh, okay. So I want 1 Claude Sonnet and 1 O3 Max. And so what I will do is it's going to go ahead and use Claude Sonnet itself, and then O3 Max is going to launch 2 background agents. And I'm kind of wanting to YOLO with Opus, but are we allowed any other background agents besides these ones? I think it's the Max models only. Let's just Opus. Can I do some other ones too? Can I just do Pro? This is going to be a really expensive background agent task, but I feel like I got to test this. Right? O3 Pro? Do we want an O3 Pro? Do we want to loop? Oh, this is so scary. So these are background. All of these are going to be background agents that launch. And this is probably going to be the most expensive stream that I've. Oh my God. 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 I don't think I'm ready for this, but I think I'm going to do it for not do it for the gram. I'm going to do it for my fam. I'm going to make sure it's on the right branch because this is the branch that we're currently adding on so that we can compare the same branches. All right, fam, let's go. I'm going to let it go. We're going to pray. Pray for me, y'all. Look at all those background agents. Look at all that money I'm just burning. So a little bit of context on background agents is the fact that you can get there by hitting the little cloud icon or hit Command E. So that pops in this new window. And what Cursor is doing is they're launching your code into a new environment because I have my GitHub account connected in the back end. And so what's going to be happening now is that they spin up whatever language model you have. So you have to have a pay-as-you-go plan. And with that pay-as-you-go plan, you basically get access to this. And you also have to have a Cursor Pro account, at least. So that's the $20 account that I have. So that gives me access to launch these background agents. And the background agents are going to be at my own cost. So I'm paying the API fees and all the tokens that are going to be available to use the max models. So what that means is for each model that I selected there, that background agent is going to go through its own automatic session in the background right now with that same feature request that I use for Kimi K2, right? And it's going to basically try to do its task and do everything. When it's done, it's going to let me know that it's done. And then we can go ahead and review that. We can create a PR, which is a pull request, to put it back into our branches or put it into wherever we want to put it into. So each of these specific models that I selected all run independently in their own containers. And so I can actually review and compare the output between all of them. And so it could be a cool way to kind of benchmark to see how good a specific model is against your code base. And for example, feature requests like this, right? So I've taken this feedback from my users and I'm giving it to background agents to let it do its thing. And so who wants to sit in front of a computer while you're waiting for a model like Kimi K2 because it's probably new and still being implemented to wait forever? And then in the meantime, I'm just kind of having it do its thing in the background, which is pretty awesome. So that's background agents in a nutshell. As we're here watching this, it's still in step 4 of 7. And I don't know if the to-dos thing is currently available as a background agent, but we're going to go ahead and find out as it does this thing. See, like these ones are already having code in there submitted. So this one right here is running, I'm not sure which model it is. This one's running Opus Max. The reason why I make this face is I'm burning money so fast. But this is thinking for 7 seconds. We can see what it's thinking about. And I'll help you add this. It's like search for more files. And each of these searches, through each search, it found all of these files in my code base and it thinks again. And it like reads more of my files and then thinks again. And then it's just like, it's literally just shipping code left and right using the Opus model in the background. So it's not even running on my machine. It's running as a background agent. Not gonna lie, this is pretty freaking fire right now. So, and this is kind of the files we look at. So the background agent, as you can kind of see in this workspace, up here it says workspace and it has that bracket that says background agent. So that's how you know you're in your background agent mode versus Cursor. And then the other part of it is that you have this little sidebar here. So let me move my head and I'll show you this sidebar. So this sidebar, if you can see, there's a little toggle here to collapse it and show it. And so you can actually review which agent is currently in progress. So the way they break it down is like, this is currently our local instance, which is, as you can see here, this was the one that's running Kimi K2. And then down here, they have ready for review. So this were previous requests. So like, this is one that I did earlier, right? Or actually, this is from which model? This is from the Gemini 2.5 Pro. So Gemini 2.5 Pro says, yo, I'm done already. I already finished. I'm good, bro. Like, I was like, that's pretty fast. We'll see. I don't know about you, Mr. Gemini, but if you ship, applauds to you if you can ship with Gemini. All right. So the ones that are ready to review here are going to be here. And then the ones that are still in progress are going to be down here. So that's kind of the way it's working. These were older requests 3 weeks ago that I did for background agents. So that's kind of that in a nutshell. If you want to exit this background agent mode, this looks like there's like a hide secondary sidebar, I think, or return to local machine up here. So, okay. So within this view, I just learned right now, if we hit this little X, this means it's going to get rid of our background agents. And then we're going to go back to our regular view for coding. We still have this sidebar over here, so I can toggle it this way. And then I could bring it back by just hovering my mouse. So anytime I want to go back to a cursor agent, I can either go to this cloud icon. You can see some weird stuff up here, or I can just bring my mouse back over here and then bring it back like that. Or, toggle it. It's just Command Shift S if you're on a Mac. If you're on a PC, bless your heart. I think it's going to be just like Control Shift S. And yeah, so that's it is what it is right there. Kimi K2 right now is it's quite a bit slow, and there are a little bit of bugs that are happening right here, and I don't really know what's going on. Did it write any more files? No, it still really hasn't finished writing its design docs. So that's a little annoying, but that's okay. Yeah, Kimi K2 seems to work well in kilo code. Bro, can't be talking about the kilos like that around here. Sterling, what's going on, man? Must tell me how much you paid. Man, I don't know. We'll see. This is going to be awesome. Hold my beer. All right. That's why I encourage you guys, if you guys want to become members, this entire stream is supported by members like you. And actually, my goal is to get my first 100 members. I just signed an editor who's going to be able to help with my streams, because I want to get some of these nice long streams that I have. There's a lot of really good content in there that I want to pull out for you. And then I also want to get at least 4 different videos to you, so that like at least once a week I hit you with a good video in terms of like, how to get something started. So as a member, you get to join the Discord, request some content from me, and then I'll try to see if I can cook it up for you. Right now, I'm kind of doing a series on Claude Code and how you get that configured, get that started, how I use it in Cursor, how I love to use the planning mode. It's been my preferred model to go, but I'm always checking back in on Cursor. I'm always checking in on these models. You know me, when there's some new model, some new news drops in my workflow, I'm going to be checking it out. And that's what I do on this stream. And as members, you can definitely join, and that helps the whole movement here. And it helps me cry less at night when I sign up for the, $300 a month plan from Google's or whatever, or Grok. I got the, OpenAI $200 a month plan. We're about to get on the Cursor Ultra plan for $200 a month. Just like, I don't know how much money I have left to spend. And then we're paying for all the token use, right? For all these background agents on top of that. Okay, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. Yo, big shout outs to Alex. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You are the real MVP right now. There's going to be a post on my YouTube channel that will describe, like in there, you'll see how to join the Discord channel. So you just go ahead and follow the steps in there. And then once I get that email, that's how I get you onboarded and so forth, and get you in the Discord. So yeah, thank you so much to Alex for becoming a member on the stream. This is super nice and super awesome. Every little bit goes a long way, right? So we're still waiting here for the actual stuff to go on. I'm going to toggle this to-dos down. So it looks like it's actually reading my file right now, Cursor, and it's now letting me create a history page. So let's create a dedicated history page. And so now it's going to try to generate the UI here. And if we look through here in the app, it looks like it is doing something. I don't know exactly what it did. It created a new component like history here. So it did make some like new code for us. So it's basically, this component just says there's an arrow left to go back. There's a transcription history, and it says view and manage all your previous transcriptions. And then it's actually created a transcription history component. So let's go ahead and option click that. And then this takes us into here. And this looks like it's going to use our React query thing, which is awesome, from Convex. And then it's got some UI cards from Chatien. I like this. The button, the cards, the badges. And then we're going to pass in, it's going to do a 10. So it's going to do a query for 10 of the recent transcriptions. And it's going to do this API call in my Convex database, which is awesome. And then it's going to return back the some information maybe about the actual transcripts itself. So, oh, I love this. So what's nice about it is it's going to show a status page about completed, processing, or failed. And then it's going to show us a config variant. So like a label saying, copy to clipboard. Oh, this is going to be a really nice feature. This is not bad for a one-shot with using Kimi K2. And it's still cooking the code, by the way. It's just taking a very long time. Wow, this is nice. Okay, I'm really excited for this now. I wasn't really that excited earlier, but now I'm getting really excited about this. I think most of our background agents probably finished by now. Let's see. Yeah, so like these are still generating, and it's in the actual to-do list here. It's still on this stage right now. Wow, that's what's up. Can try installing Claude Code in GitHub and use PR. Yes, you can do that as well. And by the way, Claude Code now allows you to have Claude Code inside of GitHub, and it uses your own plan. So if you have like the max plan, you could just use all that stuff in there. Previously, you had to pay per use for all the API costs. So you had to have some money in there for it to use it, Claude Code inside of GitHub. You can just add whatever. So that's pretty cool. And then same thing with Cursor now. You can use I think Cursor inside of everything, and you pay per API call. So yeah, that'd be interesting. It says $3.10. I don't know if you know this, but the Claude Opus output, so I think it's $15 for the input per million tokens, $75 for Opus on the output. $15 for Opus, Claude 4 input, $75 for the output per million tokens. Bruh. I don't know about that. Expensive as live stream. So yeah, for Kimi K2, is it 3 and 10? I don't really know what the fee is right now, but I should look it up while we're doing this, because all we're doing is waiting. I think all of our tasks are nearly almost done. So I'm going to go ahead and say open agent sidebar. And so in our agent sidebar, it looks like every single model that we launched is done. Gemini 2.5 Pro, done. Claude Sonnet 4, done. Claude Opus 4, done. ChatGPT O3, or OpenAI's O3 model, done. All through the background agents. And we're still waiting on the Kimi K2 stuff on my local machine. It's probably just because of it being a new model. And Kimi K2 tokens per second are much slower than the other models, by the way. And for those who are wondering, how big is Kimi K2? It's 1 trillion parameters. Massive, massive model. So this not only is a massive model, just putting these in these different data centers is just really hard to scale up pretty fast. And so I think wherever this is at, I haven't really measured the tokens per second, but I know that Grok is the fastest at triple digit numbers, like hundreds of tokens per second. And then everyone else is like 60 or 30 or 20 tokens per second. So maybe that's kind of what we're dealing with here. And yeah, over time, I think this is going to be obviously a lot faster, but a first impression from Ray Fernando is that it's going to take a long ass time. So be prepared. I mean, if you're going to use this model to do something like this, epic, like the way we roll, it's going to take a long ass time. And it looks like it's still having some tool calling issues too. So these guys are still bringing them up. The speed is not, this is just where it is right now. And this is where we're looking at it right now, July 19th on a Saturday at 5:30 p.m. So I don't know if we know, but these people do not sleep. Those people at Cursor work every single day, apparently, all the days and the hours. Like, who ships on a Saturday, middle of the morning, saying, hey, Kimi K2, here we go. But that's what it is, right? And then I'm here live too, checking this out. And so we're all just kind of crazy like that. All right. So this could be a different story by Monday. This could be a different story by Tuesday. We're early gang on this. So I appreciate everyone who's been even able to show up on the stream, kind of hang out with me and see what it's worth. Yeah, Grok is my love. Oh, Grok is so fast, so cost efficient as well. But people are saying they're getting different results too. So I'm curious to see what your experience is. Has anyone tried the Kimi K2 model on Moonshot, like OpenRouter or Fireworks AI or any of the other AI providers? I'm really curious to hear what your experience is. I know some people say that they prefer one over the other, and then people are making these theories about quantization. We briefly covered this in one of my previous live streams, but basically, deploying models is a whole nother dark art, because that's like getting them into different chipsets is a whole, you need a lot of tooling and software. to activate all the different model parameters. And then like the response could be different depending on, you know, what servers, what models, how many servers, what the load is, and all this different stuff. So you will get, your results may vary by time. So it's not really like you could say I have this specific config file, you know, like the software, you say version 1.0 of like the iPhone software is the version 1.0. You can install that on a million iPhones. You'll get the same repeatable result. AI models, not so much, right? Like depending on where they are, whatever, it's like a Windows software, right? You can put that on any PC, but depending on the PC you put that Windows software on, it will behave very differently, either very slow and horrible or extremely fast and amazing, depending on what graphics card you have in there. Same thing, right? So that's AI models low key, kind of like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. All right, so we're still waiting. I don't know if I got time to wait for this type of thing. I think what I should do is like turn off the live stream. We'll come back like whenever this thing's ready. And if I come back Monday morning and it's still going, bro, get out of here. I'm gonna have like 5 live streams done and be like, yo, I think we're still on step 4. I can't right now. AI models feel like gambling addiction. Low key. Low key right now. I did spend a lot of money, but check this out. I'm not saying that I am addicted to gambling, because I'm definitely not. But I do have an addictive personality. So maybe this is why I'm so addicted to AI. Sterling, I think you're getting me to think really deeply on this, but the only reason why we're like this right now is because we're literally still waiting on this model to finish. I'll let you psychologically figure this out. I'm gonna have to my Zen session and kind of really think through this, think through my choices. And I might have to go back to just regular dry AI, non-AI coding, but that's not fun anymore. Chris Norman, I'm really looking forward to XAI's Grok coding model. If it lives up to the hype, it may work. So check this out, Chris. I don't know if you saw my earlier live stream where I was using Grok 4 inside of Cursor here, and that was already pretty good at generating a plan. I was really impressed with how it was integrated in less than 24 hours. And after Elon's tweet saying, hey, they nerfed the model, it's like, bro, just chill. Like, Cursor team kind of came in super quick with Grok 4, updated all the tooling and some of the backend infrastructure to make sure that the app can be a little bit more responsive. And by the time I went live, right, like they'd already fixed a lot of those bugs. It's like, damn, these guys move super fast, right? So I think the same thing is here. Really, Kimi K2 just came out. I'm pretty sure these guys have had no sleep because the Grok team went 72 hours without sleep. That dude at Grok, there's like one guy who says, screw it, I'm just going to do it live. Literally just 72 hours, no sleep. And got that thing up like Thursday. Bro, like, and I don't know if you know, but Groks have these language processing units. And not to get very specific, but their chipset is even like 18 nanometers, right? We're at like 4 nanometers on these phones and stuff like that, less than that. And they have crazy infrastructure. They have like huge amounts of memory, and they have to have a lot of these different machines all over the place to load these weights on these models. So it's very different from a lot of other like TPU based stuff, like Google has, you know, and then like you have GPU based stuff like what NVIDIA has. So you have, oh my God, I'm not even gonna go that crazy. But basically what I'm saying is that those Grok folks are cracked. The Cursor team is cracked. Everyone's super cracked working on this. And like, this is as fast as they can get them out. And then they're still having to do a secondary pass to do the integration for like fixing bugs with these like outputs, you know, making sure it's optimized for all this stuff. So I'm going to see how this turns out. But I mean, Grok 4 has been promising inside of Cursor already. I wasn't impressed with Grok 4 on the web, and we have 2 different results there. So once the coding model drops, especially for the API, I really do think that Grok 4 Heavy is just going to be game over, like absolute game over. So that'll make it worth the $300 a month. I think. Yeah. And yeah, you better believe who's going to be having it here first live. All right, folks. Dang. So we are still in step 4. I can't right now. Damn, this is like too much. Grok has ASIC as dedicated inference. Yes. Grok, guy at XAI for 72 hours. Here are the errors in the console log. Please, Claude, please fix. Oh man, how's it going, Mark from NC? Oh hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, dude, thanks so much for joining in. This guy's like written some really nice notes and really nice stuff, taking a look at repo prompt as well. You got a bunch of cool stuff going on, Mark. Thank you so much for joining in. You know, what I'm interested in, I run 3 windows and projects in Windsurf at the same time. Bruh, I feel like if I use the same model, things get a little weird. I don't know. If a model is good and it works for my code base, I'm all in on that. That's just kind of how I am. But yeah, okay, so we're still step 4. It's still trying to implement the code for the component. It's now got a sidebar.backup. I've not seen this before. This is like a oopsies. What is that? What? I've never seen the sidebar backup. That is strange. Like, are we just gonna... What? I mean, y'all saw that, right? Like, we're just gonna just pop in this like sidebar backup, like sidebar oopsies. That is really strange. Maybe they do this and underneath the hood, and I just don't really know about it. Right? It's just maybe these other models are so fast that this is already happening in the background, and they just don't know about it. I mean, this is where we're at right now with Kimi K2. This is literally the rawest look that we have with this model. So, damn, it's so slow. I can't right now. I think the only thing that I could do right now is try to review what my background agents are doing. So let's just go ahead and review that code really quick and see where we're at with that, if you know what I mean. So the first one that finished was the Gemini 2.5 Pro latest. And let's just kind of take a look at that and see how that did for us, right? Gemini 2.5 Pro is like, yo, I got this. Let's take a look at some of these earlier messages and kind of go back and see its thinking process so we can kind of evaluate what's going on there versus what the other models are doing, if you know what I mean. So we're having to do this, unfortunately, while we're waiting for Kimi K2 to do its thing. So yeah. Hey, what app do you use to narrate the models? Oh, I use a thing called Whisper Flow. So I'm not sponsored by these guys, but I probably should reach out to get sponsored them. If you do rfer.me/WISPR, I'm going to put this into the chat. HTTPS. You get a free month. And I think whoops. Oh, I accidentally deleted the message. Shoot. Okay. No, never mind. If you use this specific thing here, this will get you a code. So this code will basically get applied and it'll say, you're adding my referral. So Whisperflow here, you'll get a free month of Pro and Slot. Amazing app. It works in all these different languages. I have a lot of friends from India who have these different accents and they're like, dude, it gets my accent. The guy, I think 10A has like different accents too. I think that's probably why like these guys are going hard on this. A bunch of ML researchers from like Stanford and that's like these top universities are here. They're funded. One of the reasons that made me convert, because I used to not be a big fan of these guys, is like the fact that they've got like all these compliances now. They listen to a lot of the feedback saying they want, like a privacy and all that stuff. So I was like, anyone who's like all in on the privacy stuff and doing that and actually listen to my feedback, huge thumbs up. So now I'm all in on them. You have your dictionary. They have the language thing is huge. I know people who are using like Super Whisper with different accents and they don't have the same results. And for me, like you can literally, it knows that you're in an email and it like formats it in the email. And then like I'm literally texting someone and it'll say, okay, I want you to do these 3 things. And I'll just say the 3 things. I don't have to say anything. And it'll reformat my text and it'll say, 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot. I was like, that's so nice. I can't tell you how awesome that is. So that happens all the time. And that's what I love about that. So yeah, that's Whisper Flow in a nutshell. It's rfer.me/WISPR. And yeah, just go ahead and click the link in the chat and then that'll basically take you there. Yeah, I flow so hard on this all the time. So this is probably my favorite app to use. And I should probably reach out to them and do a sponsorship deal because they're so damn good. And I should probably be getting paid to speak about it, but whatever. Like, I don't care. I really love what they do. So let's take a look here. Google says, let's cook, fam. Okay, I found this file and it read the context. It looks like there's state management, FF, all this integration. Here's my plan to implement the feature. So it basically updates the schema, history, and everything. And let's just take a look at the code really quickly. So it's this copy. Okay. So it looks like it went to the history file, it created a component called history, which looks pretty good. And then it looks at these transcriptions, and then it looks at my sidebar, and it looks like it's added some stuff for the sidebar to know if it's like open or not. And then it's doing this like motion.span. Okay. And then the backend in Convex is basically just making a query for it, which I find pretty clean. I like that. And that's it. But it doesn't have any query like, so the bug here in the Google Gemini Pro implementation is that it's going to pull, like if you have 100 transcripts, it's going to just do that query, just go, just like eat up all of my Convex backend. And you have to set a limit for that. And then there's also like this other thing, I think they have like pagination that's built into Convex that they're not calling into, but that's in my Convex rules. So Gemini 2.5 Pro, I thought you were so smart. But that's why I do these types of things, right? Background agent 1, will I accept this code? Definitely not. And so I'll just kind of like, that's an interesting review. On the left-hand side here, we're currently in what says workspace background agent while we're waiting for Kimi K2. This is like, all of my stuff is now ready for review. On the local sense, we're still like this little spinning thing says like, this is Kimi K2 and we're still running it. This is 37 minutes ago. So we've been running for 37 minutes and it still hasn't finished. And so you're going to be in for a long run. As far as all of the files, the next one that we're going to take a look at here, as far as implementation, is from Claude 4 Sonnet Max Mode. So let's take a look at that and see how it did. And let me just take a look at the code really quick. So from a code perspective, somebody's kind of wondering like what I'm working on. On my app, Ray Transcribes, what I have going on is that my users have requested a history feature similar to what you have for ChatGPT. Right now, when a transcription is finished, you can download the transcripts and do those types of things. But if you want to go back, there's no history. So you have to retranscribe the video. It does transcribe extremely fast. And so as a first prototype for my first launch to get this out the door, I was like, well, the history feature isn't necessarily the biggest priority. If my users give me feedback and they want this, I can probably add this in super fast. But I just wanted to make sure I can collect payment and do these other types of things. And so people have been requesting this feature, and I'm hoping that I can just add it into the sidebar, similar to what you get in ChatGPT. And I basically have given it to this Kimi K2 to see if it can implement this feature. And so I just did a dictation, selected some rules files from Convex, which is my database, the front end file, and some other sidebar file, the component. So that should be enough context for it to kind of do its thing. What we did is we're running Kimi K2 locally on my machine. We're running 4 background agents. And the 4 background agents that we're running are Claude Sonnet, Claude Opus 4, and Google Gemini 2.5 Pro, and then OpenAI's O3 model. So we've reviewed the code from Gemini 2.5, background agent, and it just did okay. I mean, it got us to the first step, but we definitely have to do some optimizations from the database side as far as what it should be calling and pagination work. And so it's like, okay, it's not really complete, but I think right now we're reviewing the next model here, which is the Sonnet Max one. So we're going to see how that looks like. History requires data. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. It's like you can, basically get the data stored, and that forth, and then like recall it down and so forth. So yeah. And so let's see. What we can do here is what's going on now. It's basically taking a look at the sidebar, transcription history, the page history, and the use hook. So this already looks pretty good because I want to see what's happening in use hook. So in here, it's basically saying for the sidebar, it's now creating what looks like some links for the sidebar, which are very correct. This is actually how the setup is for setting up links in the sidebar. So yeah, I think that's really cool. That's having now this new like history and new transcription on the side. And so there's nothing there currently. And then it made it transcription history component so that we can go ahead and put that into the view. And so this is like a fully fleshed out like part of the app. So now it's basically the checking for like a loading state and then selecting to see if viewing a specific transcription, it can actually show the transcription view here. And then it'll say that you can copy the transcript or download it, which is awesome. And it'll have the text here, the language, the job created at. Okay, this is pretty cool. And then that's awesome. Stats cards. So this will show like the transcriptions, the completed, the minutes transcribed, processing. I mean, this is very, very good for, wow. This is Claude for Sonnet. Kudos. Completed transcription. So it'll take a look and see how many have been completed. I want to see if it, and then how many have failed. Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I don't bubble up the failures because I have some retries on the back end. But that's kind of cool that it even has that thinking. And then this actually, I do have a subscription guard component that's nested within the history. So this will actually do a check to see if they're actually subscribed. And so that way we're not going to show any of this like UI unless this specific thing passes. That's really smart. I'm so glad that Opus picked that up, or Claude Sonnet picked that up, because Gemini totally missed that, like wrapping of this type of thing for the future. This is impressive, right? This is background agents for Sonnet. We'll see how far Kimi gets, right? So Kimi should be able to take us through something similar. As far as use transcription history hook, this is going to now get the individual hook here. And it's going to now, this sets a limit of 50. So like this is doing the limit thing that we're talking about earlier. And then it's going to fetch the history, fetch the detailed job data when the job is selected. And then it's going to organize the status by completed, failed, or processing. This is nice. Download handlers that reuse existing infrastructure. Otherwise, show a message that the user needs to view the transcript first. Job data not downloaded. Please view the transcript first to enable downloads. Click view. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. It sounds like a really weird user experience. Or it's possible that it can get into a state. Maybe that's why they were doing that. Sanitizing the file name. Try reconstruct segments from attempts. Okay. This is nice. Okay. Close transcription view. This is really nice. Wow. I like this. This is a really great. This is all of the code. Claude Sonnet. So far, we're still waiting on Kimi K2 like 40 plus minutes later. And we're going to see how that does. So far, it's generated, Cursor has been able to generate its own little task list to do its tasks and try to figure itself out. That's running locally. We kick off 4 background agents. Gemini 2.5 Pro finished prematurely is what I think. You know, I don't like this additional trying to go back and prompt it more. And then Claude Sonnet 4 Max, super impressive. It was able to read through my files, understand how my sidebar really works, understand how the code works to implement the sidebar and like what specific features we need to add. I was really impressed that it has found my other components, which is like a subscription guard, to check to see if the user's subscribed. And so it didn't generate new code to do that. It actually found my existing code, which is exactly what I want in these dry principles. And then because of React's nature, you can just put that as part of like, you know, in the little React tree. So the next component we load, you know, it's going to say, hey, now that you've passed all those checks, now we can present to you the UI that you need to present. And, you know, it was really smart about saying, hey, there is a limit that we need to do. You know, we're just going to go back 50 transcriptions, you know, as far as like showing like a chat history type of thing that you can click on. Yeah. Wow. I'm very impressed so far. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Let's take a look and catch up and see where Kimi's at. I feel like that's going to be like our theme today. It's like, where's Kimi? Kimi K2, we're still step 4 and it's doing this thing that I cannot absolutely read. Oh my goodness. Oh no. I can't read this. This is too much right now. I can't right now. Cursor, I can't. Are we done already? It's done. We heard the done ding, that it made a ding sound that it was done, but it's still stuck at this step. So I don't really know what it says. Copy, text, download. I think it's saying that it's done, period. I think but it only edited one file. This is such a L right now. And so if I check over here, it did code changes, but it didn't really finish. We have a sidebar dot backup. That's nasty. And then we have my sidebar. My sidebar is missing, bro. Sidebar dot new. Ooh. I packaged JSON, popped in a date thing. No. Okay. Oh, this is nasty. Oh no, this is nasty. Oh, this is really nasty. Okay. As of now, where are we at? Because Kimi K2, like quick review. If you're setting this up in Cursor and you're trying to use it right now, this exact time, Saturday, July 19th at 5:54 Pacific Daylight Time, my first look at this is that it's not ready. She still needs to be baked. There's a couple bugs to be fixed. The chat window, there's an issue here where like it literally just will only show one word at a time. It takes a very long time, by the way, so be prepared that this is going to take a very long time to run locally here on your machine. If you're going to be using any of these types of things, you're probably better off using any of the other models. Those as background agents kick off nicely in the background. We saw how fast those finished. You know, we're like 40, 50 minutes later and we're still kind of waiting, and it says it's done, but it's not done. It did at the very beginning generate this cool little like task feature. So we got to see that going on. But where we're at right now is the fact that basically it shows us that we have 4 of 7 to-dos and we're currently stuck here. According to this, I didn't really read it because it's just impossible to read this. I don't know who can. But if we do take a look at it, I think it's saying it's done or it's ready to do the next thing here. So your mileage may vary using this. It may be better to wait a couple of days and then we can check back and do another stream and see, you know, how is Kimi K2 for real after they've turned around a couple of bugs. Obviously, for me, what I'm going to do as a diligent engineer is going to, you know, give the Cursor team some of this feedback. So I'll give them the screenshots. I'll probably give them a link to the stream. I'll say, hey, this is my exact request. Here are some IDs for you to look at, and then see if the team can actually take a look and debug and fix these features. So maybe by Monday, you'll take a look. By the way, these teams apparently never sleep. So big hats off to all of the engineers and everyone all over the world who's been able to get these models delivered and available to us to use in all these different ways, because without them, we wouldn't be able to have the content like this. But for you yourself, you were able to save some time. So if you were thinking about playing around with it tonight, if you do get some cycles, you know, I would say put it on and then just go to sleep and then come back and see what happens, because this is going to take you a little while. Or if you're about to start dinner, like I'm about to go get started, you know, I'm going to see if I can continue or say what the heck's happening, and then see what it does from there. So definitely appreciate everyone who's been able to join in. Also, big shout outs to Nathan Wright, $4.99 for the super chat. Man, you are a real MVP. He did not only do it once, he did it twice, bro. Thank you so much for the $1.99. That really means a lot. And this is actually helping me get the channel going. And Nathan, if you're not already a member, you can slide in to become a member too in the future if you'd like to do that. That'll get you access to the Discord. My goal right now is to get my first 100 members. So everyone who's popping on stream, if you're, you know, who's been able to support, I really appreciate that. I think we got like 65 members so far. And so we're getting really close to that goal. And this has already allowed me to hire a video editor, which has been super amazing. Because like the video editor is going to help chop up some of these live streams, and definitely appreciate everyone's been able to do that. Also, huge shout out to Sterling Cooley. Thank you so much, man. The $9.99. Oh my God, you guys are so awesome. Just kind of coming through for this. This does mean a lot to me. I'm so serious how much the support like helps me kind of roll everything in, because I'm trying to grow this channel, and y'all are down here from day one getting this stuff totally ready. Great stream today. Thank you so much. Yeah. Would you be willing to create an app to a viewer? An app to a viewer, like if you request an app, like saying, can I make this live? That could be fun. There's a couple of things that I want to check out, Nathan. And while you're here, I want to show you something really quick before I head on out. There's this cool repo that I found. I'm going to put this in the chat. I use Convex a lot. And this guy came out with a YouTube video 2 days ago that's just straight up heat. And he shows you how to use this thing called Next Clerk Convex, right? So you basically get let me just show you the website real quick. So if you follow the steps in here, you are going to be able to cook, my friends. So this starter pack is fire. it has these amazing ShadCN components, Tailwind CSS, and he says in his video and everything like that, that you can actually configure the Tailwind components. I don't know if you've heard about this, but I'm going to show you the sauce real quick called TweakCN. So you can use TweakCN. So this is like basically a sample of ShadCN. And within this type of thing, you can select this dropdown right up here. And in this dropdown, you can change like the whole theme in the field. You can say caffeine, you know, I want something that's like maybe cyberpunk-like, you know, maybe I want this. And then you're like, okay, what's the dark mode feel like? So here's the dark mode feel, right? If you're like wanting, like, let's just say McDonald's, right? Or no, let's just go random. Let's see, random. You can choose all these styles. So this will basically make your website not feel like anything else. So that means changing the rounded corners. You can change the different fonts, right? So like if you want to pop-ins, you can get that. You can do like your different font styles to really just add your own take to it. JetBrains, you know, the monospace fonts you can do. Yeah, let's just do a JetBrains font just for fun. You can kind of see what that looks like. So you can already tweak the feel just from this type of thing. You can see how much of a tweak that we've made. And if you want this configuration, all you have to do is go to the code section, and then you can do a couple of things. You can just copy the code and literally put this into the index CSS file, because this is already Tailwind CSS4 compatible. You basically pop that in here, boom, you'll have like the whole theme all ready to go. And so this guy basically made this template. This already has a landing page. So you can start your SaaS today and save yourself a ton of tokens, literally just by getting this exact repo that I linked earlier. Go ahead and clone this thing. You can start cooking with it, you know? And then from there, you basically say get started. You can log in. It's using Clerk for authentication. It's also using the Stripe checkout within Clerk as well. So you can manage all that within the dashboard, which is super duper fire. And so you don't have to worry too much about like all the crazy Stripe stuff that you normally have to configure. I want to do a whole video just on this whole thing. This guy already has a video. Let me see if I could find that video. I put it in my Discord. I think I put it into general or in one of my things. I'm going to go ahead and grab this video because I felt like, man, this sauce is so fire. So it's called Build Your Own SaaS. Let me see if I can put this in the chat here so that way you guys can get this. So yeah, this video is so good. All right, cool. I'll put this in the chat. Yay. Okay. So glad this was able to go across. So you'll see this video. If you're watching the chat, you can go to the chat replay. If you're right now live, you can go ahead and click this video. And this video will basically take you to this guy who walks you through how he set this up step by step. And so, oh, my bad. Did I put in the right link? Oh, yeah, here we go. So this video here will walk you through this guy. And so he basically talks about, let me just get rid of myself here. So this is him explaining the video. He only has 18 subscribers, by the way. And this video only has 58 views. And I feel like this guy is like just delivered so much heat. And it tells you exactly about how he goes like, and there's also this other component library that he links up that you have to know. Oh, he did not put the links in here. Okay. He talked about this. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. And this component library is something that I got to go check out, but this is what he used to develop. I think this is him talking about the cursor, not the cursor, but the paid plan. Oh man, I got to drop this before we leave because this is too much heat. But y'all are here right now. And I think y'all are here to do some building. And I think, God, where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Come on. So he talks about convex. He talks about this. He talks about whatever. Come on, let me find it. Like, where is it? So he does this type of thing. I couldn't find it. So if I do find it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link it in the description because he talks about, oh, here we go. Elegant components. Is it here? Tail arc? Where is it? I think it's like right here. I want to find it for you guys because it's too good. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I'll find it for you and I'll do that for real. I'm still stuck in Flask. No. I've been using Kimi quantitative research this week and IQ is insanely high. O3 and other models often struggle to understand Kimi's interpretation guide. Interesting. Yeah, Kimi's good for research. Exceptional, I think, at SME design. Transcribe his video and do a text search. Yeah, I think that'll be the way to go for this. But huge shout outs to everyone who's been able to join. Also big shout outs to Eddie Steve, who was late to the party. Is Kimi a cursor or Grok? This is Kimi in cursor as an agent. And it said it's finished, but it's totally half baked right now. And this is kind of where we are at right now. So yeah, a lot of stuff has been going on here. And yeah, big shout outs to Sterling for the big super chat. You guys are the real MVPs. Also, big shout outs to Nathan Wright as well for the super chat. Thank you guys so much for the support. This really means a lot to me for the channel moving forward. So tomorrow I'll be live. I'm hoping to go live right around 9 o'clock in the morning. So this is Pacific Daylight Time. I'm currently in California. I went live a little bit later today. But if you do like the later lives, and if you're watching this as a replay in a live, let me know what time zone you prefer me to go live. Because right now I've only been going live in the mornings, but I know I can capture another set of people who are waking up at the other side of the world, or who are doing stuff in a different day. So just let me know. I know, like for me, it doesn't, I have a lot of flexibility. And with that flexibility, it's been really nice to being able to kind of like take care of my family, do these different types of things, take care of myself. I'm streaming every single day. This is my summer of streaming. So I'm trying to come up every single day, making sure I stay on top of these things. And as new models drop like this, I'm going to try to cover them as well. But I also want to educate you on app building because I'm doing that for myself. And I'm finding all these really great, videos and content and things. I want to make sure that you get access to them and are building with the latest and greatest, obviously. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Ray Fernando, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thanks.